Life.
Out of Haven, assemble!
I was like, wait to see if you I was
Da,
thinking you would do
da,
it by yourself.
da, 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 da. It's the remix Kingdom. It's back, people. We got Kingdom. It's back, people. We got Kingdom. It's back, people. I know it's been a long hiatus, but our Haven's back doing Kingdom videos. We need to finish catching up to the chapters now. So we're gonna finish the last few arcs that we have to do. So the first arc we're about to start with before we finish, I think we're like 2 or 3 arcs away from actually catching up to the main arc right now.
Yeah, we're really close.
Yep, we're so close. And I think that is the state of I, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
correct.
So from chapters 402 to 437, it's not big, like it's not one of those big arcs, but goddamn, it's emotional.
Yes.
It's fucking emotional.
Yeah, I like that. It's kind of like, you cut me off.
No, yeah, you go.
No, okay. But no, it's good because it's like a political arc, and I kind of like
Yeah.
those. I think those are kind of unique to Kingdom. Like we don't really get those as much.
Yeah.
I like the fact how it showed how other people aside from the king have like actual power. The fact that just by being his mom, she started like a whole other state.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like what?
Like, woo, she's just trifling.
Yeah,
She's
bro.
psycho and she's trifling. Oh my goodness. God damn. But yeah, let's start this off, man.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna be a very long stream, everyone.
Get up there.
Listening to us right now, but we're gonna make it sweet but short. All right, so we basically begin with it's kind of the aftermath of everything that's gone down. Sanyo and Choi is now in the hands of Quinn after those battles, and now, actually, yeah, sorry, you go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, we get to the point. I think we're starting off this arc. It's been a while, so I think we're starting off this arc when we get the Queen actually going to the other state, correct? Or is that something we already covered?
Oh no,
Like,
she hasn't done it yet.
Okay.
She's in the beginning of the arc, it's just kind of we would see Shin have a little recap with him and Toe are talking, and it's just literally right after him and Uhan and Toe and actually there's another person I can't forget. One of I'm pretty sure it's one of Toe's generals under him that helped to defeat what's the fucking guy's name?
No.
It's the smart genius guy from the coalition arc who brought the towers.
Oh, I know you're talking about the kid. Well, not really a kid, but kind of looks
The
like a
dude
kid.
from Way, or
Yeah. Wait, it's the way general. Forgot. Let me just sorry.
Go.
His name.
I forget. Kingdom names. I'm sorry.
I know it's because there's so many common names.
I feel like it's
that sounds.
Oh,
that
it's
is that his?
Gohome.
Okay, that's
Gohome.
I think it's Gohome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Gohome. So yeah, it's just basically they do a little recap about that. We see Shin saying now they're just trying to hold the cities they just won and stuff, and just because now we all know what's about to go down. Quinn's finally starting to, like Tao said, cities will fall. It's time to take over China, baby. China's getting taken over by Quinn, baby. So now, So now we just quickly getting back into the chapter 402. There's a little quick recap. We go to Zhao. We see fucking the man, the myth, the legend. Who do you think I'm talking about, guys? Who do you think I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off, Hecky. No, I like Hecky. Yeah,
I mean, no, yeah, he's a beast, dude. That's what I'm saying.
Look where he's at right now in the story.
But higher than Shin.
Are you talking about Ryufu?
Yeah, I'm talking about Riboku, man. Riboku. Now, because now since everyone's realizing, especially Riboku, that the seven warring states, everything's collapsing. The Queen has changed the balance after that win against Wei. So now everything's changing. He's like, oh shit. And his little under generals are all talking to him about what's gonna happen or how to get stronger and stuff. And we start hearing about these crazy other military powers like Chu. Even though Chu got fucking owned in the coalition army, they lost the strongest general. Or they got
Yeah.
that giant Amazonian lady.
Yeah.
She's
And just for how many people for how big it is, how many
Yeah.
actual people they have. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like they have the biggest army.
Exactly. They've got crazy. Like it's just insane how crazy the biggest army is. Oh my god. And then now, like, so literally, Revoke is just doing a little recap, talking about each different state and stuff. But then we get to the main point of what's about the whole arc's about, which is Elsay, the Queen King. Everybody knows this is it's the year of his if I remember correctly, his birth isn't his birth right now. He
Correct. It's
officially
his coming of
becomes
age
king.
ceremony.
Yeah, coming of age. Sorry, that's it. He officially becomes king, and this is when it starts getting juicy. Juicy. Oh my days.
Yeah, like.
Because now this. Yeah, go. Sorry, you go.
Oh no. I was gonna ask you just to clarify. What's the fatter guy's name? The queen's like new manservant, basically, her husband.
Oh, Ruai.
Right. Okay, I just want to make sure for later.
Ruai. Yeah. The fucking the chubby bastard. Yeah.
No, it's the Theon Greyjoy.
Yeah. Theon Greyjoy. Oh my days.
Game of Thrones, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But go on, Nikki.
You never know. Yeah, we got me. Okay, cool. You never know. Game of Thrones might have got some inspiration from Kingdom. You never know. But probably not, because I'm pretty sure George R. R. Martin really wrote.
No, I don't think he reads that shit.
Yeah. Anyway, now we hear the exact talk of what's about to go down, which is now it's finally the show off between Ryofu and Elsay. This is the year where whoever wins officially has control over Quinn, and essentially because of the whole actions of what the king did, Elsay did in the coalition war, he gained a lot more supporters, lots more, which is a crazy amount. And even when of course his brother, who died unfortunately in what we all know as Ryofu's other scheme that was stopped, but it was too late. Fucking. The guy died, man. The brother died. This is some sad shit, man.
Yeah.
I still like that though. I'm not gonna.
Huh?
I was gonna say I like the turnaround from the brothers aspect of how he used to be a complete asshole, and then
exactly.
once the
That's why I was
girls
hoping
introduced,
they kept him. You know.
yeah, he's like, nah, I'm gonna kill him off.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys finally like this character? Nah, not happening.
No, I actually do like him. I'm just like, because he had great development as well. Because the fact that once he saw what Elsay was willing to do, he's like, okay. And when he came back, and he almost died as well, Elsay during the coalition war. I think he earned a lot of respect for Elsay,
Yeah,
and it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I think once he changed his personality, I think the fans started to grow on him. Are you gonna go this time?
Exactly.
Oh, I'm going Charlotte's.
Back to the story now, Nikki. Listen.
Yeah, back to the story.
Story time,
So
Nikki.
anyway, yeah, story time, Nikki. Anyway, now we have a hell of an entrance because we think this bitch is gone. Like I haven't seen her in a minute, but then she just appears out of nowhere and just says she makes she makes these demands. What she does. Elsay's mama, and we don't. Everyone knows that their relationship is basically it's just peak. It's tumultuous. There's something wrong there, right? Not on some creepy, incestual ill shit, but just murderous. Creepy.
The way he phrased that.
Yeah, that sounds a bit off, but yeah, you know what I meant though. You know what I meant. But basically, yeah, she enters in, and then she has the nerve to be like, oh, she has the nerve to be like, I want Sanyo and Cho, just like that. And she comes in with a creepy, oh my god, what are those people again? They're so creepy.
I know you're talking about the servants of the House of Harem.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the Harem House. The guys.
The eunuchs.
About. Yeah, no, I know you're talking
the
about.
eunuchs.
But they serve the Harem House. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, exactly. They serve the Harem House because it's really interesting when you find out that because from the past arc when they first kind of introduced Elsay's mom and everything, when you find out that essentially there's 3 different actually no 4 different factions if you count the brothers faction as well, but most of them joined LSA, which was a good thing, but still.
Right.
Yeah.
But then she
So
controlled,
it's
I think,
very
majority of the political,
yeah,
like rich
exactly.
men and shit.
Yeah, she has a lot of more besides because LSA is just a young and up and coming, so he hasn't got that many loyal people. Ryofu's just been balling since day one. He just grinded out. And then the Queen Mother, she's been just steadily getting power because essentially during all the times there was infighting, she was just chilling in the harem, not fighting anybody, just slowly gaining more and more power, which is it's quite interesting political climates there is in Quinn right now.
Yeah, like it's kind of cool to see like the influence that she had basically in all the society, like how much she actually controlled
Yeah.
to be her own
Yeah.
entire faction, and obviously to eventually get her own country was crazy.
Exactly. Oh my god. But then now, when we get further into the chapters, things start to get a bit more messy. We hear more and more. We have no idea what our plan is, but the fact is, we all know that she wants to become and have her own. This is something creepy there. Like she either wants to become Queen of Quinn and get rid of her son, or she's trying to kill. I don't know. Honestly, she's very I can't tell what her motive is. I'm trying to think, guess, but when I first read this, I had no idea what she was planning to do. Like, what did you guys think about it when you first read that? Like, the Queen Mother just yeah, I want 2 states that you just won after a hard battle.
I don't know, like, because they just always had like a weird relationship. One,
Yeah,
and I felt like she was just always like taking advantage of him. So she probably like in some way probably felt like he would, you know.
yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
know.
Oh, okay, it's just weird. And the fact that
What?
even we see her, it's kind of funny how everything kind of backfired on Ryofu. Like it sounds messed up, but he was literally just he was just trying to sideline the Queen Mother because everyone knows that she's everyone knows if you read Kingdom, we all know the Queen Mother is basically on Ryofu's balls, basically. Like she loves the guy to the maximum. So this guy literally got Ru Ai, some fucking nobody off the street, fucking got him to just replace him, and then now, a few years later, he just appears in court, and now he's pretending to be a eunuch, which is weird. But we know they've been banging, which is crazy because what we found out later, they have 2 kids.
No, he's not a
They
eunuch.
have to, yeah, no, exactly. But he pretends to be a eunuch, and only
Oh yeah, pretends.
only Ryofu knows. So it's oh my days.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then we just see just rushing through. We just see Elsa trying to ponder what's going on, as because they all feel awkward, as in they know Ryofu knows that man Riai, but they don't know why. They can't prove it or anything. But the more the politics of this arc just they get more and more interesting, and you get to go more deep with how everything's happened in the kingdom. For example, what happens to the queen in the end? What happens to Elsei? What happens to Ryofu? This shit is just it's crazy, man. Yeah. And then when you see the 2 kids, I won't lie, when I saw the 2 kids, I was like, God damn, how can I thought they would look I don't know, man. How the hell can you have 2 kids in a harem, though? That's the thing I don't understand.
Right.
Wouldn't someone would definitely be able to find out, right? I know that they're loyal to her, but it's just you'd at least think Ryofu would have a spy. Maybe not Elsei. Elsei is not that crafty yet. But Ryofu? Oh my god. Oh my god. Because we even see there's even assassins trying to find out what's going on, and then they get killed off by the octopus dude from the first arc, not the same guy, but an octopus tribe guy.
Yeah, I think this is brother or something like that. I can't remember the one that was going into vents or something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's like got I don't want to call it flutes, but it's like he shoots like poison darts at you. And
The
shit, basically.
the blow dart. What the hell's it called?
Yeah, that's it.
Blowpipe.
Yeah, blowpipe. That's it.
Yeah. How do you guys think of that? I was gonna say the scene when we first see her banging
Yeah.
Ryufui. Like his
Oh
face was like, oh
man.
god, what did I get myself into?
Exactly. He has like no expression. She's losing her shit. She's like,
Uh, It's just funny as fuck.
I know, man. That's why you know. That's why you know Ryoku is just like I don't even know the fuck. He's just a great villain. He just doesn't give a fuck. Like he always has a poker face. You can never really test. The one time it slipped was the coalition. Like he's like, fuck, he might die. That's the one time
Yeah.
I see it slip. But every other time he just keeps it up. Like you never know. Oh man. And we hear more and more.
And did you talk about the little girl that ends up seeing them?
Oh
Yeah, he
no,
said
I talked to. I talked about that. I haven't seen it talk about little girl. Yeah, I forgot to mention a little girl. Yeah, like
I thought
she
that's kind of
barely gets
interesting.
away, right? That
Yeah,
was
she's
pretty
like
interesting.
bleeding out, and then they catch her. Like they find her outside the next day or some shit like that. I was like, no, like the only girls in the series to like actually talk like a normal human being. Like almost gets killed off right away.
Oh my god, yeah, it's true, man. It's just Quinn is just like actually Kingdom's just savage. It's just like no one survives really. Like unless you can fight, you're fucked generally.
I
Or
love
unless
the
you're
I love
yes.
but I love the scene where like the doctors all come, like the top tier doctors all come in the room. Like if you remember
Oh
that scene
yeah,
where he calls in all the like female doctors and shit like that, and like they come in like they're fucking like Yonkos basically. Like they have the aura behind them, like the other members, like what's his name? Like the mountain tribe, Tanawa, like whenever like they have like their auras present, like the
yeah.
drawings, like they're bigger and shit. Like I love how the doctors had it too. Like you just knew that
yeah,
they were actually like the best.
yeah, exactly. They just like hoarded the greatest god doctors for Quinn. But then, like now, when we start to get to like basically chapter 404, we start to realize there's starting to be weird movements, and there's like something weird going on. For example, Taiyan, which is it's not too it's close to Kakuyu, north of north. It's basically on the border of North Quinn, and we start hearing that they're trying to move soldiers there, and it's something a bit off about this. And even though it's one of the most heavily guarded places, it seems they're still getting more. Apparently, they needed 10,000 soldiers, which just sounds crazy.
Yeah. Also, Devil Lake, what's up?
What's up?
What's going on, Devil?
Oh,
Yep.
Devil Egg hopped in. Have you read this arc, Devil Egg? This State of Eye?
Yeah, I didn't like it as much as the Coalition, but it was pretty good.
What do you think of what do you think of it overall?
I'm lying to you guys. I didn't read this shit.
You motherfucker!
Yeah,
It's only like 35 chapters, you asshole. Like, come on, man.
Nah, you read it.
Well,
He's
he
just
hasn't
lying
read
to
it.
us.
Yeah, I know.
But but yeah, no, yeah, I just thought it's cool to like see the other aspects of the Quinn lifestyles because like all we've really seen so far is just anything related to actual war in like the series. When it comes to like the countries, like, we don't see like farmers that much or and shit like that, except for when Shin got thrown off the cliff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. We haven't seen him for like ages. Yeah, it's like generally just like the last time was like in the beginning when my boy Oki, the goat, was still alive. We saw like how Shin started off from a young scrub to a fucking a boss. Not a boss, but he's getting there. He's getting there. But,
So how do you pronounce the name of the arc? Is it State of AI?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh.
It's just aye. Like,
But
yes, there you go, sir.
sorry. No, I was just gonna say like I thought it was just cool to like see like all the different shit in the kingdom because like when they finally flesh out like the other citizens because all we've gotten so far in the story is literally just fucking generals and if you're not general you're kind of like average or ass. Yeah, basically.
Exactly. That's true. That is true. But at least, but you can see there's wealth and power as well, which is depending on your family as well. There's a lot of still the I can't pronounce aristocracy. Is that the right one? Pronouncing? Yeah, there's still aristocracy all over China and everything. Even though essentially most like fucking hell, like there's a few kings that we will talk about later, like when we get to a few other chapters that are just pieces of shit. But yeah, I'm not gonna mention them by name now. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to caught up. But anyway, we officially get what this arc's about. The state of Ai, essentially, where they were amassing troops from Tanyan, the north border of Quinn. And then officially, they just be like, fuck it, we're revolting from Quinn and we're going to start our own state. And everyone is panicking because it's kind of, I never thought about how complex of a situation it is because essentially, like, imagine you're in, like, okay, what's a good example? I have to use America as an example. Imagine you guys are in war. No, I have to use America as imagine you guys are in war with Canada, right? And you still, and Mexico wants to fuck you guys up as well. And then one of like say one of your states, like that's closest to the Canadian border or whatever.
Minnesota.
Yeah, okay, Minnesota. Minnesota just says, yeah, we're gonna revolt and we're not gonna fuck you. Like we're just gonna leave you guys. That literally starts a chain reaction of like problems for everybody because now Mexico might be like, fuck this shit, we might try and come up as well, and then you still have a problem because on the border of Canada, because Canada's fucking massive as well, they can invade and they've got a place to start easily.
They'd come over with their beavers and their canoes.
Exactly. And like I love the way they explained this in this arc about how the state if they don't get it back soon, it literally makes their power situation so weak because essentially the troops are spread out kind of thin as well. They just literally finished the coalition war not too long ago, and then they just won Sanyo and Choi not too long ago either. So it's just like wow, there's too many. The repercussions could be horrible.
Yeah, I think it was super ballsy of them to like actually revolt because when you look at like how it's supposed to be, which I don't know if they've ever mentioned it before. I think they did in Sekio's like rebellion, but like whenever let's say like Nikki like revolted right on his own and he had an entire like family like not just immediate
everyone
family, like everyone gets like executed. Like as in like okay like your great uncle or whatever his family is also getting executed because he's like blood tied to you.
Yeah, related to you.
And like that's why like, I was surprised like the queen because I think what happened was the queen ended up convincing everyone along with the I forgot what you said his name was Rio or something like that. The fat guy. Ruai, yeah. It's like I remember he was giving a speech and then like it was kind of half-assed and then the queen gave a speech and then he's like oh but like I want to protect the queen blah 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 but like dude I don't know if that was me I'd be like nah I'm going back to Quinn like I'm not trying to die like after like for real like after they held off all the other states like by themselves like why would you try to rebel against that with a small state, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Like we find out later though what the motive is, which is it's kind of a weird motive, but it's like I don't understand why she would do it, but when we find out later, like if you're going deeper into the arc, it's just like it's quite. I won't lie, this arc's quite emotional, man. I did get the feels of it. I was a bit like, oh,
yeah. There's a lot of like plot twists and turns.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just because it's just like when you just see when you find out Zhao's involved as well, it's kind of a bit like, oh. Okay.
So it's basically like whole cake.
Oh no! Don't compare that piece of shit. Don't compare.
Yeah, nothing's like whole cake.
Oh, okay, so it's just emotional.
Yeah.
This one died.
No, yeah. A few people died to be honest.
I'd say it's like Water 7.
No, I mean like, did anyone important die?
Yeah, I would say so. What do you guys think? Would you say so? Someone important died?
For the most part, yeah. Like obviously, like the queen shit, like lived and whatnot.
Because like we just see the queen, just literally because it's the queen mother who starts. We find out she's the one behind the whole state of I thing, like DGK has mentioned, and then Ryofu. This that's why this nigga's it must be a pimp back in the day because the way he talks to her like when in that meeting, because he's just got game. Like you go talk to the queen and be like, I always loved you, even when I discarded you, I always loved you, and he just leaves and she gets so angry at him, like oh my day. And you see how they even got together back in the day, like when they first met, in Canton, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And this is when Ryofu was still like a merchant, and he was just literally just He just. That's what, the one thing I can respect about Ryosu, man. He was
Came up with
hustling.
nothing.
He hustled.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He just
Like
he yeah. Oh, sorry.
Like he shouldn't do what he like did. Like in terms of like that should have been impossible. Like some lowly like commoner shouldn't be able to like get to that position, and he still did it.
Exactly. It's insane. He amassed wealth and power. It's kind of like Varys from Game of Thrones, if you're gonna use.
Yeah, no, the Dofi type.
Like, yeah, Varys and Dofi, like even Littlefinger. I would say I don't know what Littlefinger's origin is, but these people.
He came from Bravos.
He came from Bravos.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I don't know, but yeah, man, it's just because when you find out more about the Queen's backstory and the way of the fact that Ryoku just left her in enemy territory, and just like how Elsei and her got tortured and beaten every day by that country. Like we already know about their backstory, but you get to see a bit more in depth for now. It was kind of deep. I was like, God damn.
Which would make sense for like why they did what they did, because like they got treated like absolute garbage.
Yeah. Because it's like I have to admit, you kind of understand the Queen's motives later now after you see like her past and stuff. Oh man, because it's brutal, man. Like I can't because I didn't. But for one thing, I'll never understand is why she hates her son so much. It's like insane.
Well, I think she talked about. I think she said like basically it's because he didn't really like do anything to help her get out of that position, or like she was literally being a prostitute. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's
Remember, like
point.
the only thing like that really happened to him was he got saved, right? Like after like I forgot her name is the important lady in his life, but you know what I'm talking about. Like she saved him, but she didn't save the mom. So like the mom was left there to die. Like that's what happened.
That is deep, actually. But she tried to kill him though. Even before he left, she was strangling him and stuff. Like she was.
Yeah,
like,
because I mean,
but she wasn't gonna really kill him.
Yeah, but he is the reason why she was where she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like having a monster, basically, like in that like not village, but in that like town or whatever you want to call it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's just there's no respect. They didn't care at all. And then there's one really nice thing as well, which is awesome, is that Tao becomes a great general. Just in between all this crazy shit happening in the state of Ai, Tao just becomes officially is a great general now.
He's the best, bro.
So, and that only leaves 4 spots open as well, which is quite interesting actually when you think about it, because essentially Mobu's already won, Tao's already won. I think to me it's guaranteed that my boy Usen is definitely going to be one. Definitely.
I was just saying Tanwa, I think, is going to get one, but
I know, but she got another title. But like she can't become a great general, but she's got a title that's similar to that.
You'll see.
No. As in, she's got.
I know. Like they gave her special privilege because she's from the mountain
tribe. Yeah, they gave her special privilege. Yeah, because she's a mountain tribe, so they can't like officially put her as a general. But she is a general basically of the mountain tribe people. So she still has the same respect and power as a great general. So there's still 3 slots left. Because that's another thing that's interesting. Your Tomo is one of the only characters we've not seen like really go. Actually, no, we haven't seen a lot of them go in. But she's the one that's the most intriguing to me because she literally conquered all the mountain tribes of people, and you see how strong they are. And she doesn't even look that big, you know what I mean? She doesn't like some giant Amazonian.
She's probably just so crazy. That was
exactly.
You know?
She's like, what's her name from Bleach? Or what the hell is her name? Onohana, I think. The original Kenpachi.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen
like her.
Bleach, but yeah.
Oh, you suck.
I know it sounds blasphemous.
It is. Yeah.
It sounds blasphemous. But also, another cool thing is Shin and Uhan get promoted to 5,000 man commanders as well, each of them. So
yeah.
They are still reaching their goals together. They're making it.
Fucking Kyoka is going to be the next one. Watch.
Oh,
so P.
I can't even doubt that though. Kyoka is a savage. It's like, oh my god.
Like honestly, like Shin wouldn't have got anywhere where he was without her. Yeah. Like he would have done the first battle.
That's true. That is true. But I feel like everyone's got their. But actually, no, I feel like they've got their privileges. At least Shin came from nothing, but Uhan and
Moten.
Well, yeah.
Did you really forget his name?
No, I almost did. But Uhon and Moten, like they come from royalty, so they had a lot more like things to the not royalty, but they had money, they had power. They could get trained to become a great fighter and stuff like that. While Shin just grinded, and he still made it to the same place as them, which is why everyone like that's why Shin's that guy, and so is Kyokai. Kyokai is a savage as well. Like, but there is one thing that's kind of funny though. During the ceremony, when they just become 5,000 commander each, Uhon does make a good point that that's because Shin accidentally killed Ryo, which was the general he accidentally killed during that
Yeah, when he's trying to kill the spider-looking guy, I think.
Yeah,
Hey, and
not even his,
in the Fire Dragon arc you're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's the way Fire Dragon arc. Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, like it looked like.
In the chat, Darkside says, I doubt Yotama becomes one of the 6 great generals. The whole point of that system was to freely wage war, and Yotama could already do that.
Well, it's to fully wage war under the king's name. But like, if you wage war right now, it wouldn't be under the king's name; it'd be under her own name. That's why the king had to appoint it.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Darkside. But I mean, the fact is, like, they give her a special position. Like later on, like actually, I probably skipped a bit too far ahead, but I hope everyone's caught up. But they do give her a special position, which is basically a great general. But because she's from the mountain tribe, she doesn't get she can't be considered. You know what I mean? She's a great general, but they just call it something else, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, but back to my point about Uhon, he does make a point that instead of Shin missed to kill Gahome. He let Gahome get away, which was he's like the real mastermind of Wei, basically. But anyway, getting back to the politics and the drama of the arc, we finally see
the tension is killing me.
No.
Yeah, I know. It's killing you. It's killing you.
See, we're trying to Heki.
Oh no, Heki's been about. He's doing this thing, man.
Heki's the best. People sleep on Heki.
No,
it's true. No, honestly, that is true. Like I think people really do sleep on Heki. Like he may be not Shin level or Kyokai level, but he's got something.
I think he's just more of a strategist and like a politician versus being an actual fighter.
Yeah,
he reminds me a lot of the other guy. What's his? I can't remember his name, but it's the original like SI's original like father figure, I guess. He used to be like a general alongside Oki.
Shubonkin?
Yeah. No. Oh, it's been so long.
Shiboken? Yeah.
It's a guy who was like along with Heki. He was like the only 2 like military leaders with SA. They were backing him.
Oh yeah, during the first arc.
Yeah.
So the Shimonkin.
Is it?
Okay, you probably reading the Chinese name, so you don't recognize it.
Yeah, it's kind of it's the same one. Yeah, that guy is the father figure. Yeah, is it Shaheb? God damn, it's so hard to pronounce. Is it Shaheb? Sorry, can you pronounce it? I can't do it.
I don't feel like it anymore.
Oh well, fuck you, though. Oh my god! But when we get back to the state of Iron, they're just chilling, and I'm starting to think like, what's up with like what's going on here? Like we finally get to understand what her plans are, the Queen Mother, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because essentially she leaves Ru Ai in power, who's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
An imbecile. And she just leaves.
Help me, Dan.
Oh my god. She just leaves to do some diplomatic stuff. And Ru Ai is just literally, because he's such a sheep, he just gets manipulated by all the lords there. Oh my days. And this is what comes close. Even the coalition army never got this close to taking down Quinn. But the Queen Mother and Ru Ai almost did. It's actually insane. Oh my god. Oh my god. And then finally, we get to that point. The coming of age ceremony started in January. The coming of age ceremony. And we get to see all the old faces. Nobu's back in town. That fuck still got Oki killed, but I respect him now, but still got Oki killed. Can't forgive that. I can't forgive it, man.
I'm not gonna lie. That's one of the best cover or pages. Like for the intro, that like section of the arc. when they did the over look of the entire city and shit, and all like the ceremony decorations were up.
Exactly. That's crazy good, man. And it's like, and I love the panel of how we see the kind of the what's the not I was gonna say the harems because that's weird. Nah, I mean the sorry, I'm missing a word. My brain's going blank.
I can't think of anything besides her.
It's the word for like conglomerates when you're in it's not their cliques, but it's a better word for it.
I know what you're talking about now.
What are you talking about?
Well,
He's talking about their group,
but it's a better word for it.
Like their faction, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. Their factions. Because there's a little panel. Actually, there's a really good panel with on chapter 408, page 3. Everyone's reading on with us. You see El Sai's faction, and then you see Ryofu's faction. You just see the queens, a little bit of her in the side. You just tell she's there, but they don't show it all. But I want Ryofu's faction looks savage, man. You got Mobu, that guy's a savage, and then it's oh my days.
I can't remember the other guy's name. Haken.
Yeah, Haken, yeah. And he's a savage as well. Even when they explained it in the coalition war, even he gets down. Even though he's a strategist, he gets down as well. He's almost as strong.
Yeah.
I still thought he was the strongest. I still think he's the strongest, over Mobu. The way that Mobu talked to him, and the way that everyone else was telling Mobu to basically back down if he doesn't want to die.
Yeah, that's good.
When we
I think they underestimated Mobu though.
I mean, we saw everything. Well, I don't. Well, yeah. I mean, we saw everything Mobu in the coalition. Let's be real. He fought to his death. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was on death's door, and we haven't seen shit from Shohaken.
Very true. That's a good point. But I feel they need to they got to show something soon. So I feel because Mobu's getting more battle practice and stuff like that, and I know that guy's still a savage, of course, and it's the same thing with Roboku. But I feel if you've been waging war for ages, you must be able to get stronger than some strategists. Even though they must be super strong as well, you should have an advantage over them because you're not rusty. You've been fighting for ages. You get in there.
I feel. I would say this is all personal, headcanon, but I'd say Shohaken's a better general on the field than Mobu, because if he's at least around his strength and he's the military advisor for the entire country and for Ryofu, I would say he's probably the best. Which is why skipping slightly. I will wait. The horses, the black horses, when we see them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, those ones are pretty sick.
But go back to your story, Nikki.
Yeah, I'm going back to the story now. And now this is when it gets down to the nitty gritty, basically, as we say in the UK. When it's down to, it's basically Ryofu.
I'm pretty sure people in the US say that.
Oh, okay. All right. Smart.
Let him have his thing.
Devil Egg supposed to come in there with a smart quips. Yeah, we say that too. Okay. Well, we use the same language. No wonder. Oh my days.
Well, I mean, you were saying it was a British expression. I'm like, wait, I'm pretty sure.
As if no one else did it.
When's the last time you said nitty gritty then?
I mean, last night.
I mean, I've heard it. I'm just saying it's not a British thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's not important. What were you saying?
Anyway, all I'm saying is this: we finally get into the nitty gritty of the chapter, basically, right? And the whole arc, and we start getting down to the fact it is the coming of age ceremony, and we know just from the get-go that Ryofu has a plan. There's no way he's going to let Elsei just become king normally like that. Because, once he becomes king, it's done. He won't be able to get the power again. Essentially, now he's a rightful ruler of Quinn, and there's nothing Ryofu can do to stop that. Which is quite insane. And it's funny, they pit the two forces against each other, the factions. As DGK pointed out. Actually, no, it's Devil Egg.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see you, Nikki.
Was it? No,
that's me. No, that's cool.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
That's you.
I don't
favoritism,
like giving credit for stuff. I don't like to give Devil credit for stuff that he didn't do. I just don't like giving Devil any credit. Well, okay. Well, that's good.
I don't know, Nikki. That was questionable.
Yeah. It's going, Nikki.
But now we finally start to see Ryofu's plan. And then we see Ruai. we get hints of Ryofu's plan, then we start seeing Ruai's plan. He's such a fucking idiot. Like I just look at this guy and he's just such a sheep. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my god. Because the funny thing is, they left them alone as well. Even though the problem with that is they could cause so much issues and everything. They got left alone. The Elsa was like, fuck it. Like, maybe my mother just needs some space and just let her do her thing. We've been through like hell together kind of thing. He left her alone. Ryofu just basically cut ties with her saying, look, babe, you're the only one I love. And just walked out like a pimp, and she was like, God damn, I hate this nigga. And that was about it. A couple months later, it's the coming of age summer in January, and then Ruai's making plans, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, behind the queen's back too.
Exactly, behind the queen. Oh my god. And then we start to see the generals of the state of Ai, and these guys look savage. Like this general Han Okai is just like, I don't know. And I know he's related to someone as well. I just can't remember their name.
I still can't get over the fact that like this dude was supposed to be like the fucking prostitute for the queen.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
Ruai. Yeah,
Ruai
exactly.
was supposed to be like the best, like I don't know what, like
Gigolo.
love maker, I guess. Yeah, the best gigolo in the entire state.
Oh my god. That's the thing. That's the thing about Ryofu, man. That's a guy that he just kind of he's always scheming. He's like he just loves power more than anything.
Yep.
Just using gigolos to distract queens. Like who's ever heard of that? That just sounds insane. Oh my god.
Back to the story, Nikki. Come on, we're waiting. Anticipation.
I'm getting back to the story, man. I'm just trying to finish it off because now this is when we start to see Ruai, like his backstory about him just being an idiot. Like he's getting bullied. The only thing he's known for is having a fucking giant dick. That's the only thing he's known for. Like even when he was young, he got bullied. He was not a good fighter, nothing like that. And now,
wait. He got bullied because he had a what?
No, because he basically had no talent for anything. The only thing that he had a talent for was that he was hung like sea biscuit. Hung like sea biscuit. That was it.
Okay, that's weird.
No, that's true. Like that's why you need to read Kingdom, man.
I'm doing Kingdom.
No, yeah, I mean, read this arc. I mean, like, read it because it's a good arc.
I don't know, man. It sounds like it's about gigolos and emotions.
don't put it in that order. That sounds a better way. Gigolo emotions, but yeah, actually, it sounds weird, but it's literally what's happening right now. Like, this is like on pages like chapter 409, and it's the man who would be king. I think that's what it's called. And essentially now, because Ruai is slowly getting manipulated by the lords and ministers in the state of Ai, and they're telling him like for example, it's like if you've never been good at anything in your life except for fucking, like so you're just a gigolo, and then if somehow you become king of fucking like a city, like you become king of Texas. Like what? How the fuck did that happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You start to get a bit gassed up, and you start thinking I can do anything, and then this is how the mighty fall, man. When stupid people get into power, the mighty fall quickly. And then we get to see these the intimacy between Ruai do his thing with the queen, because the queen, she's like I've never seen like someone look so menacing when they're having sex. It looks so creepy, man. The queen mother is just like, I don't know, man. Like Ruai is scared for himself. Like, oh my days. And then we start to see what's wrong with the queen mother. She starts crying. Before she was a psycho, but she got her. She's messed up. She really messed up after all her experiences. Oh my days, man. This is what the emotion are. This is what the emotion is between Ruai and the queen. Like this stuff right here is the emotional stuff, because you kind of see that basically they do kind of like, hey, I'm not a romantic, but they kind of there's something there, man. They're starting to fall for each other, which is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess. And then they decide we find out that literally they have kids, and they decide to keep it.
Yeah, that was the weird part.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. Like that's the one that
Yeah.
we see that they actually have a baby.
Yeah, exactly. And they have like, is it twins or is it just like one kid?
I think it's just one. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was just one.
because they have two kids overall. But yeah, I think they don't have
Yeah.
twins in the beginning. You're right. They have one, then they have another.
Yeah, normally that kid would be fucking executed on the spot.
And then we finally see why the queen started all of this mess with the state of Ai. The fact is, she hates the fact that she hates her son Elsei, and she hates Ryofu for totally different reasons. But at the same time, she just wants to leave Quinn. She just doesn't want to be there anymore. She wants to make her own kingdom and just be left alone. Which, the one thing that was quite smart is Elsei kind of clocked that straight away. He was like, oh yeah, maybe she just needs space and to be left alone, and she'll probably get better and just her heart will heal. But the main problem is though, they literally, when you have two other babies from the queen mother, you create two heirs to the throne. So essentially, if they grow up and they come when they come there like 14, 15 or whatever, like when they have their own kind of coming of age ceremony, they can literally try to upstage the king, which could be Elsewhere at the time, and it could start a civil war. Essentially, all the different factions will have to start choosing sides. So they choose the Queen Mother's the Queen Mother's and Ruai's kids, or they stick with King Elsei.
You know, they had that shit in the bag.
Yeah, by then.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's like, no, babies are usurping me.
Yeah. Execute everyone.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's kind of crazy. They didn't do that back in the day, didn't they? They did like one.
No, yeah, dude. Like, if you had another baby and like it wasn't with the actual king, like that shit was dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, look at what happened between Sekio and him. Like, Sekio straight up tried to kill him because he's his half brother.
Yeah.
He's like,
That's
He's like,
true,
no
Sekio
fucking
did try to-
prostitutes. Like,
Who
son.
is Sekio?
Sekio's
The brother.
of Elsei.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, you're
Yeah,
still
in the
trying to.
first arc, yeah. Like he's already dead by now. Like unfortunately, I'll probably spoil it for you, Devil. Like, yeah, he's dead.
I mean, I don't really care about spoilers.
Yeah, no, we know.
Yes. Yeah. So Sekio's dead by now, but it's the fact that like he literally that's a really good point that you came made. Like he literally started a revolt to kill Elsei just because he could become heir to the throne as well. So that's what they did, man. It sounds quite brutal. Like why can't we all just be friends and like
Can't we all skill on?
Yeah, exactly. But it's also if there's any Game of Thrones out there, it's similar to what what Joffrey did when he started killing all Robert's bastards. He decided to went to all the whole houses that Robert went and just like killed them all off.
Yeah. So I
And
haven't even know that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And we still got Gendry. But we still got Gendry though. Gendry survived. But anyway. Back to Kingdom.
Super spoiler.
Draco
hey,
said.
man, if you know.
Draco says that he doesn't think that they're heirs since they're not the king's kids.
No,
well, the king's gone, and so like royally, like it would be to the queen because the queen here. Is Nikki not hearing us?
Nikki,
can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, no, it's someone went Mr. Roboto. I don't know if it was me or someone else.
It's you, but no, yeah, I was just saying like the queen mother basically takes over the position of the king in the sense that the king's gone now, and SA would be the current like king, like to be like the interim king in a sense, where the queen mother though has a lot of the power. So if the queen mother has a child, she's also like throwing a candidate almost into the race. Now SA would be the original one, which is why they were trying to kill SA. But yeah, so if he would have died, then the baby would become the next like one in line. If your food would have died, obviously as well.
Yeah.
That's why like Sekio was like gonna be the next in line, but then the king originally chose SA because he I believe was older. I think that's why he was like the one to be the king. But yeah, so anything from my boy Draco.
So there, Draco, there's the explanation. Can you guys hear me still? Sorry.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's the thing though, because once you have another heir, it's just war. because essentially a civil war could start if people join that faction and believe in that person's legitimacy more than the actual king. So it's possible, man.
Anything's possible. But
yeah,
go back to story time. No, I was just wondering if we go back to story time.
Okay, good. Okay, now sorry, my internet's on the fritz, man. It's like
Yeah, the Outer Haven account saves it sound out, so that stream might end soon.
Oh,
okay.
no, Nikki.
Wait,
What are you doing, Nikki?
No, it's my
Rebellion.
internet.
Rebellion.
Wait.
What do you think, Dan? Rebellion?
No, man.
I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
They didn't think Sakura would at first.
Yeah.
So how would you guys rank this arc in comparison to the previous ones?
I think it's the best political arc.
Yeah.
Overall arc, I'd give it like
showing how much other people can also do.
Yeah, like I'd give it like probably like third best.
Okay, I thought you were about to say 3 out of 10. I was like, what?
No, but Coalition I think is the best, and then honestly, this current arc I think is gonna be the next best. And then I would say that
one
was
yet.
No, we'll wait until Nikki's ready for that. But yeah, and then like the arc that we're in right now is I think the second best, and then this one that we're talking about now, the State by, is I think the third best. Because there's not really a lot of fighting as much as the other arcs, which I kind of like sometimes, just because like it's like the tension builds up and shit, which is always really cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. And also the thing that's really good as well is like this arc is just emotional, man. By the time you finish the arc, you're just like, fuck. Like you don't know what to say, man. Like it's not as sad as when Oki died, because I still hate Moby for that shit. But at the same time, it hurt, man. I was like, damn.
So Dan, what do you think?
It was up there. I liked it. Like, especially like my whole reason for liking it is because you could see like people aside from the king, like how much power they had. So I don't know. I'd put it up there, but I don't know like exactly what order I'd put it.
Yeah, my internet's back. Woo, hope you didn't get it. We're still live, right?
Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
So, yes. Sorry for that technical difficulties, people. Yeah, we're back. All right.
No, it's back to story time, Nikki. Come on.
Yeah, back to story time. Sorry about that, peeps. So yeah, now we get to the point where essentially all the ministers have now finally got rewrite to be like, dude, you've got to fucking invade Kanyo. If fucking Elsay becomes king and he finds out with the 2 kids, your kids are fucked. Like, it's war. They will kill your kids. They're literally like they use every good argument of like they'll kill your kids, they'll destroy their family, And the funny thing is, it's only the queen who seems to have any sense in this at this point. Like even though she's a crazy, everyone else that wants to go to war, and she's just like she's still thinking about the consequences. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I think she knew. She's like, no, there's no way we're winning that shit.
Yeah, that's just like I was just like, wow, like just to go through with it is insane.
Mm.
Oh my god. And the fact is, like, there's this. I don't know. This one crafty bastard's name is some as we say in Japan, Osan. This one Osan, too much, man, too much.
As that kingdom was said in China.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell Nikki's doing. Anyways, keep going.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, good point. Got me there, devil. Like shit. But yeah, this one minister who literally just gives them 2 options. It's like, hey, maybe well, we can either you go to war or we can behead the queen and right now, and then we do the same to the children. They literally just said they're gonna kill everybody. Like they gave them no option, which is funny as fuck. It's just like this is what's the word? You've sown your seeds of discontent.
Yeah.
So literally, he caused himself all this trouble. They put themselves in a corner, and there's no way out. And all the ministers want to chop them up as well.
Come on, Nikki, keep going.
Yeah, now I'm going. Sorry.
It's alcopolism, am I right, double like?
No, it's not.
What?
One one thing that's great about this arc is the fact that there's so much like this just hints of
There's so much
Candace-
well-hung gigolos.
What?
Is that what you like about the arc?
No,
He
I'm gonna
likes his
say
chicklets.
there's like even though there's not so much battles or anything like Deep Monkey D and DK was saying, the fact that just the consequences of just a normal action is like, oh, we're gonna start another state. Could this have catastrophic effects? You know, cause a war, cause civil unrest. Quinn could like get destroyed, and this is when we get deeper and deeper, and we finally see that the Queen has to back down, and they have to choose to go to war with Kanyo. Da, da, da.
Wait, who is Kanyo?
It's the capital city for Quinn. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thought it was like another state I didn't hear about.
No, it's like
Yeah, no,
they were gonna go basically ransack the fucking ceremony.
yeah. It's that the one time that essentially it's kind of a wonderful, it's a weird occasion because essentially you'd think they'd have a lot of defense, but at the same time, because there's other people entering Kanyo as well, like there's ministers from different states all over China coming because essentially, even though it's the warring states, they still respect each other when the kings becomes coming of age ceremony. You still have to go and watch them. And then we see like we just have a little flashback of Shin having some battles, still trying to hold down the fort of all the things of this one. And we see they get a secret message from someone. We don't know who it is, but they get a secret message. And now it's straight to the ceremony, which is insane. Like, if you're gonna become king, and this is how it looks like, well, what do you guys think when you saw the ceremony like? So all the people come in, the dragons, all that.
You kind of sound far away from me, Mike. I'm just gonna let you know. I didn't catch that last like second of what you were saying.
Now, I was saying like, what do you guys think of like when you saw the ceremony, the coming of age ceremony? Like, it's just extravagant, man. What do you guys think about that? It's like,
I just thought it was interesting because you think that like they would take that shit much more seriously as a whole, but obviously Ryofu probably knew about it and didn't really give a shit. So he's like, yeah, like let's see what happens. Like let two like other factions fight it out.
Wait, who came of age? Was it the king guy?
Yeah, Essay's coming of age, the king, the prince,
So
or whatever.
he's gonna have political power now.
Yeah, assumingly if he gets the age of ceremony completed, which is why they were attacking Kanyo, and then which is why Ryofui was trying to basically like go fuck with him at the same time.
And then, yeah, exactly. And the thing that's great about this arc as well is like it's always twists and turns. I didn't think the Queen Mother would come to the coming of age ceremony, and yet there she appears right in front of Elsa. And it's like, what? And she starts to realize that he's grown a bit. Like Elsay's got taller. Like I forgot Elsay got taller. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, the part too though was like I think she had to go because the requirements for the Queen Mother to attend.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure like that's why like if you looked, all like the lords and like nobles were all in attendance.
Oh, okay, that's good. But I didn't know. Like, sorry.
Yeah, now you know. Knowledge is power.
And the thing that's kind of crazy as well, essentially, they're all away from actually where the plan's been mounted to take Kanyo. They're in what's it called, the ancestral camp of the Queen's royal family. So they're in another city. I can't remember the name off my head. What was it? You guys any know the city again?
Are you talking about which one? Which city?
Where the coming of age ceremony is being held.
I thought that wasn't Kenya, wasn't it? I thought they were just in like a altar like section of it.
I think I'm pretty sure it's a different city.
Are you sure? Double check. Wiki that shit. Unless anyone in the chat knows off the top of their head.
Yeah, I know it's in the Kinen Temple, but I don't know where the Kinen Temple is. And it's like we see like all the they're reminiscing of how far they've come now. Heki's like Like only what 6 or 7 years ago, they're almost dead, getting killed by Sekiro, and now
Yep.
they literally all their hard work's coming to fruition. They finally got to what they need to get to. I'll say it's coming of age ceremony. Like this is I have to admit this is why this arc's quite good as well. You get to see the development, like you see characters like think about how far they've come and everything to get to this point.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to see like post time skip of all the other people, because mostly we don't really see some of these other like characters in the story that much, like out like at least outside the battlefield, but like majority of the characters that aren't like fighters we never almost see.
Yeah, exactly. That is true. Like, and plus the thing that's really good as well, like we even see like how respected these ceremonies are. Like I mentioned earlier, like you get the other ministers coming, like the two, one of them is coming this time, and other people are coming. And then, hey, we see the Queen Mother enter. Woo! And everyone's freaking out, man. She makes an entrance. And then we see Ryofu, because everyone, from the beginning, every other state has thought Ryofu is the real sign of power until what happened in the Coalition War. That's when essentially Al Sayed for himself. Hello? What happened to that person? They fall off.
What?
Happened?
Sound like someone fell down.
Yeah.
What?
Keep going, Nikki.
All right. Anyway, it's just not. What?
Don't worry, Dan has life flight.
What the fuck's happening? Dad, what are you getting, Dad?
What are you talking about?
This nigga's falling asleep, isn't he? He's falling asleep.
Nikki, what are you talking about? I was literally playing Xenoverse with Chris.
Why does it sound like someone's slipping off their chair?
Flipping off their chair? How does someone
Like,
sound like they're slipping off their chair?
Like, or you got your headphones in and you're falling asleep, but you're
No.
like, your body's tilted in one direction and then the chair's slowly like
No.
moving. But okay, anyway, back to the actual what I'm talking about. We finally see that Ryofu enters all the ceremony, and this is what everybody's really been looking at, because essentially they came to see the king become the king, but everyone knows Ryofu seems to be the most powerful man in court, and that's what everyone respects him. Like, this guy's the impressive man. And then we see them both. So I didn't know that actually happens. The ceremony works like that, but we see them both, the Queen Mother and Ryofu, on the throne. What the fuck, man?
Just ignore it.
Oh god. Go on, Nikki. We're listening.
Alright. And we get this really cool panel of essentially all like everybody sitting there. We see okay, Devil Egg, you have to say the name, I can't pronounce it.
Shibunkin?
Yeah, Shibunkin. And what's the other Shibunkin guy name?
What?
Faction. Ryofu's faction.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, you know the member of Ryofu's faction who has the same name almost as Shibunkin.
Can you hear him, Chris?
He's getting quiet. It's fine.
Oh wait, is it really that bad?
It sounds like you like get farther away almost.
Hello?
Are you trying to cook again?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Have you seen? It's the member of Ryofu's faction who starts to show.
A member of Ryofu's faction who what?
Starts to show. I forgot
Shoheiken?
the name properly. Yeah, that's it. Shoheiken, Shibunkin, the Queen Mother, and Ryofu are all just like kneeling by the throne, which is quite a really cool looking panel, to be honest. Like, oh my god, it's incredible. And then we finally see the man of the hour enter. And now, if you ever see the guy shine, everyone is like, wow. When they see the king come up there, I'll say he's all sparkly and stuff. They're like, God damn. That's the king, and he gives up an aura, and people start freaking out. Even the Queen Mother's like, she hates the kid, But she's like, I got some good genes, man. That's what she's saying to us. And then we finally see the plot begin of invading Kanyo with the State of I Army. And essentially, they get past the Kankoko Pass so easily because they have the Queen flag. They can pretend to be Queen soldiers. Hello, can anyone hear me?
No, we're listening.
Okay, good. So what do you guys think about how easy they got through the Kankoko Pass? Like, essentially, even though the coalition army struggled, but even though obviously Queen was ready for them, but still, like, the plan went off without a hitch in the beginning so easily.
I mean, I think it was just part of like their influence that they had on like the entire city, like because you have to remember that the Queen Mother really has like a majority of the people there, like nobles and kings and shit, that in her pocket. So I'm pretty sure they just set it up pretty easy for them to do whatever the hell they wanted. 'Cause I think they even comment on her getting the forces in there.
Yeah.
And obviously Ryofu, like he kind of knew about it, I'm sure, but he didn't really do anything.
Oh yeah, and it also pays off the. You know when they mentioned about the King's Seal going missing during the Tekio Rebellion,
Yeah.
and now it pays it off because essentially we found out that the Queen Mother was the one who's been holding on to the whole time using it. So, and that's like a really powerful tool as well.
Yeah, I mean, like using it, I'm pretty sure gets you death if you're not the actual king. And I think I remember her they talked about it in like near her throne room, and she mentioned how like she didn't have it and blah blah blah. And like obviously they all knew that she had it, but she was just playing it off like she didn't know what they were talking about.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And it's because I don't think everyone is like. Do you think every soldier like kind of knows what happens within the political kind of sphere, or is it like kind of hidden to them?
I'm sure it's only to the top people, because they like if something goes crazy, they don't want like the random ass soldiers like to know about it. Even like captains and shit. I'm sure only like the top people, like as in like the Great Six Generals, would know if that. Like it's more the political side than it would be more so the warrior military side.
Yeah, exactly. And then they go back to the ceremony and you start seeing these like weird lights and it's like Elsei special, man. He's giving this aura off. You're starting to see the spirits of his ancestor and there's like little white dots and stuff like flying around. And everybody's kind of freaking out, man. They're like, God damn, this king's got presence. Like, and everybody's like, when a guy says thank you, everybody's like, even random people from different states, they're freaking out as well. They know this king is special. Like even Ryofu's heart trembled, and Ryofu's a savage, But we know one person ain't trembling, and that's the Queen Mother. She couldn't care at all, man. She cold as ice. And you can see her plotting about she's just plotting about the plan, worrying about that and all what's going on around her. And then she starts to realize that basically, even they've been lied to about the fact that the whole reason they even went to try and kill Kanyo was the fact that apparently the kids have been discovered, but that's not true. And she's realized she's been used by Ryofu again. What do you guys think of that?
I mean, it's kind of like just how Ryofu always plans their shiz, making sure that everything's to his advantage. I'm surprised she didn't see it coming, to be honest. You think of all the people, she would almost know the most of like his potential and like his personality.
Yeah, exactly. And it's quite tragic as well because you know for a fact that like she doesn't even care about her son, which is horrible. But at the same time, she's not like trying to kill him in the first place. Like damn, just damn. Oh my. How bad's my speaker? Though? I just want to
No, I'm just waiting for you. I don't want to interrupt you, so I'm just letting you go ahead.
Now you can go. You can interrupt me now. I need to like check on my.
I'm more kind of waiting for the portions after, like, where fucking Shoheiken betrays Ryofu and fucking says, "Oh, he's switching sides," basically.
Oh yeah, that was actually cool. And then, okay, well, it's kind of deep though. There's a lot of great stuff in Kingdom about the fighting and stuff, but this one's kind of deep because essentially it's soldiers fighting themselves. You know what I mean? Fighting their own people, their friends, the people they went into like soldier school with and all that stuff. And it's all just because of Ryoku, man. He's just a scummy bastard. And Ruai is just such a she. You know what's going on. It's the first time we've ever seen war. It's insane. And then and then we hear finally news reaches about the soldiers invading. I'm like, what do you guys think about everyone's reaction? Like everyone just seemed to be like, not a lot of people panicking out that the main members of the Quinn political climate, except for Shibonkin. Shibonkin always fucking freaking out every time.
I mean, I think everyone, like all the citizens and shit, thought that was pretty crazy and ballsy because they obviously didn't know what the hell was going to happen afterwards towards it. Like they thought probably that they're going to get fucking murdered right after because you have this random people that are coming and doing some crazy shit, and obviously the Queen Mother's in attendance, and the Queen Mother basically is kind of like has an alibi of the, oh, I didn't do it. It's this other dude, Ryue, that's doing it. So I think she's trying to keep that like to her chest of like, okay, like if shit goes down, I can say that like it wasn't even me. It was this other dude that did it.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. But one thing that I found was like super cool. Like now we get to like the big juicy parts now. To be honest, let's get to like the big juicy parts. The fact that we find out that from the beginning, like you said, what was the guy's name? I can't pronounce it.
Shoheiken or Shoheiken.
Yeah. Betrays Ryoku. Not betrays it, but he just is like, fuck it, man. I can't side with you. After what Elsei did, and we found out his dream is similar to Elsei, but uniting all the time. And it's like, wow, man, like he showed some depth, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like you see how brutal those generals are for the state of Eye as well. Like the things they do, like the way they get the army to fight their friends and stuff is like they make sure there's no turning back. That they kill too many of them. Like once they've killed too many, there's no way to give it or anything like that. How rebel souls are created. Brutal experience. But as we continue, after the betrayal, we find out that luckily it was Shoheiku who sent the note to the High Shin unit, because right now, while fucking Kenya is being pillaged by the army and stuff, essentially they're going straight for the harem to take the kids, to kill Elsei.
The child.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing that you find out is Elsei's a bit of a scumbag as well. He's got another kid. I only thought he had one. They tried to lie about that.
I mean,
he's got another kid.
Yeah, because that was the other girl that was for him, or before the. I can't think of the actual main female's name, but that was the original girl, which would be the 2B prince.
Exactly, that caught me off guard. I was like, what? And it's kind of, and it leaves open like another fake
Rebellion type thing down the line.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was like, what? How the fuck has this guy not learned his lesson? Like, you gotta just keep it in there, at least keep the kid around. Like, are we gonna hide him away? Like, you gotta just make a family, man. You're the king, you got a harem. You can do whatever you want. Oh my baby. But what are you guys thinking that, because after what happened to Safety, do you think that his kids could die? Like Elsei's kids could die after Safety got killed?
And about after this arc, or you just talking about during the arc?
During the arc, when you find out.
I thought the other kid was gonna die. I thought like the no name kid that we never really see anything of. I thought that one was gonna die. To be honest.
Oh, okay, but I thought they were mainly going for like the actual like is it daughter? Yeah, daughter.
They were going for both of them, but like the only thing that we saw was that they're going for hers, really.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like it would have made sense for the author to almost kill off one of the kids. To be honest, kind of like what we're talking about, so it prevents another thing down the line.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, but it's like I think the reason they left it is to like essentially prove that not everything's going to be plain sailing, even when they unify China. You know.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll use it as plot device later down the line.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just hold down the fort for 1 second, DDK.
Oh, this guy.
Sorry, 1 second.
Well, I'll keep going with the story time.
Yeah, where's Devil Leg, by the way?
He left Dan's asleep.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so like basically the part that we get is Shoeiken basically starts, switching sides. Everyone's like all like crazed out because they don't expect it to happen. And then Shoeiken basically like talks about how he was impressed by SA's like ability to swap to the coalition arcs fight when he went to that small like castle town and he defended it himself and like did the morale boost and shit. Like that's why Shogun chose him over all the other people. So I thought that's kind of an interesting point since we don't really ever see him ever even speak in the story that much. So it's kind of cool to see his aspect of it. And then I thought it was cool that like down the line we get to the portion where we have I say he gets a message sent to Shin and Kyokai, and then like Kyokai and Moten, or sorry, the younger female girl, I can't remember her name. But she basically reads the message and she understands from Shoeiken, and it's to protect the baby. So they go on a mission, and then they end up at the city. And once they get to the city, they basically start going on a tangent of, okay, we got to find the kid. And then Shin's obviously going crazy because he's like, this is his best friend's kid, so he's going to go protect him. And then we get to the portion where he ends up finding the girl that was the best friend of Ase's lover that has a baby, the one that got stabbed by the real food and the eunuch. And so she basically brings Shin over to the kid, and then Shin comes out of the alleyway, I'm pretty sure on horseback, and then basically just chops off one of the assassins' heads right there, and they take the baby and then they go and run, and they go try to find Ase at the ceremony because Ase is obviously getting worried that his kid's going to get murdered. And then we found out that Shoeiken actually brought in, I think they were just called Black Horsemen. I think there's a better name for it, but it's basically his personal guard for himself. And those horsemen come into the city and stop all the rebellion, and they basically like 1v fucking 300 with how like strong they were. That's why I was saying Shoeiken is the best because like those were his personal trained troops, and like they were just doing work. Like they remind me of Oki's fucking like demonic like troops, and I thought that was kind of cool to see that. But I'll let you continue with your story time.
Yeah, exactly. Like after that, and then you get a little vibe that Shin and that the best friend of Elsei's girl, like will have a little thing. I was like, oh okay, Shin's finally gonna get some girls. Like even though Kyokai's, it's probably gonna be him and Kyokai, but
oh yeah, he's already got his harem to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got like a couple of chicks on the side.
Yeah, that's probably like if Elsei has some, he better have at least one.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's a ton.
Yeah, like Elsei caught me off guard. I'm still surprised about that to this day. The guy's like, the woman was like, "Oh no!" Like Elsei was like, "Yeah, you're my first girl." That guy's a player, man. Elsei the player king, man. Anyway, so like after that, after it's quashed, the whole rebellion's quashed, and everyone's like, because everyone's panicking, people want to leave and stuff. But essentially, everything changes at that moment. And like everyone knows, like it was Ryofu's plan, but because it was enacted by the Queen Mother, and Ruai gets caught as well, they pay the hardest price. Like Ryofu, they have that really it's a really interesting debate about how they can take over China and stuff. Like, what's the best way of uniting China? And Ryofu's idea is currency.
Yeah, like, I thought it was cool how like he kind of like told Shin like the realities of Shin's, or it's not Shin, sorry, of Issei's like own goal. Like he told him that like it's idealistic, but it's not realistic. Where Ryofu's was more realistic, but morally incorrect.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's kind of cool,
And
like clash between them.
it was like really good because it's essentially like it was good to see what really drives Ryofu. Like essentially, we keep finding out that they all have similar goals besides the Queen Mother anyway. Like all these people want to become kings and stuff, but essentially they all want to do it different ways, and it's just whose ideology wins out. Really. And Elsei is probably the most brutal, but
Oh yeah,
overall is the most likely because you literally have to destroy kingdoms, man. That's insane.
yeah. And then I think during that, oh no, sorry, it's a later arc. So I don't really talk about, I guess. But the
Yeah.
lawmakers like viewpoint to Issei.
Oh yeah, that was really. Oh yeah, that's later. Oh yeah, I can answer that a bit later. But and this is when we finally see that Ryofu. This is the time at when Ryofu is he's finally, after all that time, he's finally defeated. It's over for him now. There's nothing you can
Or
do.
is it?
There's
No.
yeah. Now there's no sneaky plans. And like the thing that I always thought was the best thing about this arc as well, you just see how composed Elsei is. Like the kingdom could be in ruins, but he just kept saying we have to continue the ceremony. He never once flinched on that idea. He's like, I have to become king before I can do anything.
Which I mean, that shows his faith. I feel like in Shin, because like his kid's like on death's door in a sense. Like it could be like dead for all he knows, but he's like, okay, like I gave Shin the orders, it's time to trust him.
Exactly, that was great, and it was kind of deep what happened to that grandmother as well, who saved Elsei's kind of his first girlfriend, his main chick, because like she literally takes the blow and gets stabbed, and it's like they barely escape. It was just like there's a lot of like emotion in this arc. Like I really wasn't sure if they're gonna make it out, to be honest. I really wasn't sure.
It was a cool thing to like see, like how they did some small plot twists here and there, and like had different subplots going on at the same time.
Exactly. Like, it just seems so like imagine that, because you can imagine some of this stuff happening. Like there's literally so many betrayals and stuff like that. Like that time must have been very, just very hard to trust people essentially.
You don't worry about your friends falling asleep on you.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're disappearing. Definitely.
But yeah, no, it's cool to see. Like, that's why I said like I like the political arcs in Kingdom, because I think they're completely different than like all the other ones and other stories.
Exactly.
It's not just like who can be like more OP than the other person, and it's more like strategy and shit.
That is true. And I just love like Shin's moment, man, because last time he failed and Sekio died, but this time he got it, man. Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, he saved the kid.
Yeah, and it was cool to see Sekio's like wife there in attendance as like a royal vassal for Issei.
Oh my god! And we see like I have to admit, there's some generals. This guy I hate most. This Hanoke guy, I hate most of all the generals I've seen. Like there's a lot of scumbag generals, but at least they had something, they had motivation. And this guy just seems like we'll see a world burn kind of shit.
Which one was that again? Was that the lawmaker?
Oh no, he was one of the generals to stay up high.
Okay.
He chopped off his arm. And it's just like, oh my god.
I mean, yeah. At the same time, though, it's like, well, you know, what else you live for in that era?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if you don't have power, you saw what happened to like Shin and them.
Yeah.
Like, you live as a fucking slave.
That is right. And then we get to some of the deepest stuff in this arc. When they finally quash the rebellion, like you said, with the help of you have to say the name again. I can't say.
Shohaken.
Yeah, Shohaken's man. And then it's just like, oh my days, Kanyo saved, everyone's happy, and then shit goes down. This, I have to admit, was kind of emotional, man. This was the bit when they have essentially it's kind of they have to pay for the crimes and stuff. Ruai and the Queen Mother. And the thing is, you can't kill the Queen Mother, which was so fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I think he wouldn't do it anyway, but it was deep, man. You just know, oh man.
I mean, it shows too, though. I say his like personality, like he was willing to spare her and the kid, which was obviously crazy at the time
Yeah.
because, like we talked about earlier, is that kid could go and usurp him later down the line.
Exactly. And you're right. We do see another thing you're right about. We do see you do it. I'm sorry.
What?
The guy's name again.
Shohaken.
Shohaken. Like, he is a savage. Like, I'm just rereading these chapters again. He is a fucking savage. I didn't realize how strong he actually was. It's just like,
So I say, man, of all the general types, like he's my favorite. It's just like his personality is like the smart, intelligent, strategical, but yet like probably super OP in actual combat.
Yeah. And the way he takes care of the other general, like he literally like with little efforts. Everyone always like, oh, he's just a strategist. But the guy's just chopping heads off. And once you kick the general's head, the rest of them are demoralized. It's like, and essentially, this war cost a lot for innocent people alive. Like, not just the citizens. Actually, no, the citizens and the men that got involved in the state of Ireland.
Yeah, like it was kind of cool to see. Like they basically said fuck it, and like they finally, ended up executing a majority of the other people that were not the Queen Mother. But like I still like the scene where like he's in the room with the Queen Mother and she's on the bed in like the tower, like by herself, and she thinks the kid's like dead. And then I say like sits on the bed with her and then looks at her, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, but like I kept it alive." Like you could tell like she slightly didn't hate him anymore.
Yeah, tell us something. What else? Like, just because I know we mentioned a lot about that part, but just to mention the whole trial as well. Oh, that was. When we see the way Rui dies, man, that was.
Yeah, did he get pulled apart by horses?
Yeah, he got pulled apart by horses. That was savage. Some fucking. And it's like, I don't know. Would you rather get burned alive or pulled apart by horses? Like,
I don't know what's worse. Like burning, obviously, like eventually, like your nerves like dissipate, but like getting pulled apart, like imagine like when you like stump your toe or like you pull some muscle, and then imagine that times like 1,000. I just think that like his entire family, like how it should work is his entire family gets the same treatment. That's what I was saying. Like all those people are gonna get that treatment afterwards.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And it's because it's just insane. And it's just like, oh man. It was just brutal, man. And the fact that everyone's crying, like when Elsa starts crying, it's just like no, not Elsa. I mean Elsa's wife, basically, not wife.
Yeah.
Girlfriend. And she's just like, why don't you care about your own son? That was big, man. That's really big. Because you never see her really emotional, but when she's emotional about her other kids, not Elsa at all, that was savage, man.
Yeah, she's one of the cooler characters in the story, at least for females and shit. Just because like she's more emotion based and more like I feel like she had good character development.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she came in as like kind of nothing, like she was like a nobody at the beginning of her introduction.
It shows that as well. And actually, no. Before I even mention the next arc, we hinted it at the end of this arc. There's just my god, it was one of the craziest things. I still think this arc. It had a lot. It didn't have a lot of fighting, but goddamn, it was intriguing. There was a lot of interest in like people dying, and it really moves forward, the story forward a lot. Essentially, there's nothing standing else way until those kids grow up.
Yeah, I kind of saw it like the second half of the story was eventually going to go forward because now we're past all the things that were stopping him from doing, take the takeover of China and shit, like the unification of China. So it's kind of nice to like get that out of the way and see where the story goes because obviously the arc we're in right now is a result of that.
And yeah, it's true. That is true. And it's just like, even like, you just see she has a heart, man. Even, it's messed up. It's messed up that she hates her song so much, but you just see she has a heart for Rui, and it's just like, how everyone's getting, like, it's like a twisted story, but it's really good, man. It's like she's freaking out for Rui, and she's just like, I love the guy, and just like, oh man, it was deep.
Yeah, like that was a good character development for her because normally, like prior to like her meeting him, like she was just throwing that dude under the bus.
Yeah, exactly. In the beginning, she wasn't like Rui, even though you're just some fucking gigolo, somehow had infected her.
Yeah.
Even Ryofi had a bit of sympathy for her because he always remembers her as the dancer, like back that sexy dancer back in Palm China. I can't remember what Palm China was she in back then. Oh, Cantan, that was it. Cantan.
Yeah.
Yeah. After it's in my top 4 arcs because the next arc I just this next arc is really good, really good.
Can't remember. Is the next arc the arc we're actually in right now, or no?
No.
I think there's one more arc in between, wasn't there?
Yeah, there's 2 more, but one's really short. It's literally like almost. It's
Oh.
basically the one you mentioned a bit earlier about the king. Like there's another king we know about of Queen. Yeah, we know King Queen. I call him Snake Mouth.
Oh yeah, I know about.
Yeah, so there's like a little really short arc. That's really interesting arc as well, but obviously that's not like yeah. But it's deep, man. Because one thing that's so funny is Ryofu still survives all this shit. Like he can't be killed straight away, which is weird. I always thought that really weird. Why did you just kill him straight away?
I think it's more of like a public like shame and execution to like show them like because otherwise if they didn't do it like in a public setting and let everyone know like it'd be like, okay, now everyone else can like do what he was doing and they wouldn't be scared, whereas like now they're like, okay, like this is what's gonna happen to you if you betray me.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, like Ryofu's still alive though after this. Like he doesn't like get killed straight away, you know.
Yeah, and then I think they did mention too though that like they could have used him down the line as well. I can't remember the specifics.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, because he still has a lot of political power still and money. He did save up his money. Goddamn, save up his money. And this is but the one thing I said about this arc is just like a lot of emotion. It's deep. It's interesting. A lot of shit goes down, and it's a really good like juxtaposition to the fake hero. Essentially, everything didn't work out then, worked out now, basically.
All right.
Yeah, man. We're officially finished with this arc, man. So thank you for everybody who's watching this Kingdom, this Kingdom stream. It was a bit random, but thanks for keeping with us the whole time. Sorry about the pools and stuff.
You're kind of getting quiet.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my internet's not great, so yeah, I'm kind of going quiet. My bad, people. But yeah, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. This is one of Kingdom's a great manga, and don't forget, we will be another week from now, or in the next few days. Keep watching the channel. Another Kingdom arc stream will be coming soon, and this time it will be about the arc, which is I think it might be tied for second favorite arc. I think Coalition's first, but goddamn, the next arc I just love a lot. And I'll just say one thing: Kanki.
Oh, is that the arc? Okay, yeah.
It's the Kanki. Oh! It's just that arc is just oh my god! Like this arc's good. This is really good arc. Like, what would you rate out of 10?
I'd give it a 9.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, I'll have to say the same. I'll give it a 9. But the next one, oh, this is the next one. But and I'm still rereading a bit of this arc. Like even Rui, just like even though it was such a cheap and pathetic, his little speech saying like. He gave the Queen Mother gave his life meaning. Kind of sad as well. I did almost tear up about it. I was like, God damn, man. But yeah, but now we see the whole thing. We see everyone's back together now officially. Everyone's back, and now they have an 8,000 army now, essentially, because essentially Shin's a 5,000 man commander, and now this Kyokai's a 3,000 man commander. And now they got 8,000 men. They bring them to the hill to fight for Kanki. This is one of my favorite arcs, and we have to mention one thing though. This is one of the most brutal endings to like rebellion possible. Essentially, all the people that got involved when they were trying to topple Canyon were beheaded. All the soldiers that were killed, all were beheaded. God damn. That's just insane, man. Insane.
Feel you.
Anyway, thanks for officially watching, everyone. You guys want to help with the intro, outro? Hello.
What?
Is it the outro, guys? Anyone want to help
Oh,
out? Jump in.
I believe in you.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm just following it. Okay. Fucking hell. Outer Haven dispersed. By the way,
I rate that 3 out of 10. No.
No, what? Fuck you. Join the Discord. Keep watching the channel. Subscribe. We'll have more Kingdom videos very soon. So keep watching and thanks for staying through, guys. Kingdom! And we are gone. Gone.